Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You know what really stops most people? It ain't their mama. It ain't their boss. It ain't even their haters. The number one thing that holds people back is that little voice in your own head telling you, you can't do it. That's self-doubt. And it is the meanest, slickest, most destructive enemy you gonna ever face. Because it don't come from the outside, it comes from inside of you. And let me tell you something, that voice in your head can talk you out of blessings faster than any person on the street ever could. See, people think their haters are their problem. Man, forget your haters. A hater is just free marketing. They talking about you, they spreading your name. But self-doubt, that thing is silent. It don't shout at you, it whispers at you when you're trying to sleep at night. It tells you, what if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you ain't good enough? And here's the kicker, most of y'all believe that voice more than you believe in your own gift. Now let me be real with you. I used to do the same thing. I didn't walk into this life confident. I didn't always know I was gonna make it. I remember being young, broke, and I'd tell jokes to my friends, and they'd be falling out laughing. But when I thought about stepping on a real stage, oh man, that voice would creep in. Steve, you gon' bomb. Steve, ain't nobody gonna laugh at you. Steve, you ain't funny enough. And I almost listened. Almost. But I'll tell you what pushed me. One day I realized I was already broke. I was already struggling. If I failed, I wasn't gonna lose nothing but pride. And pride don't pay the light bill, no way. So I went on stage and I was terrified. But that first laugh I heard, man, it shut that voice down. 'Cause doubt can't survive in the presence of proof. The truth is, most people never even get to see what they're capable of. Because they let doubt stop them at the starting line. They don't even take the shot. And that's why I always say your only limit is you. Ain't nobody else holding you hostage. You holding yourself. You building a prison in your mind, locking the door, and then sitting there complaining about being stuck. But you holding the key the whole time. And here's what's crazy. People will believe other folks' negative opinions quicker than they'll believe in their own ability. Somebody tell you, man, you ain't built for that. And you swallow it like gospel. But let me tell you something. Other people don't know the blueprint God gave you. Melissa, they don't know the dream he whispered in your ear. So why would you hand your future over to somebody who can't see what you see? That's like asking a blind man to describe a sunset. He can't see it. So of course he gonna tell you it ain't beautiful. Now don't get me wrong. Everybody feel fear. Everybody got moments of insecurity. I don't care if you're rich, poor, successful, or just getting started. Fear is normal, but self-doubt? That's fear you done fed so much it got fat and heavy, and now it's sit on your chest keeping you from breathing. You gotta starve that thing. You starve it by taking action. You can pray, you can plan, but at some point you gotta move, because action kills doubt. The moment you do the thing you were scared of, you realize it wasn't as bad as you thought. Think about it. A baby learning to walk don't sit there saying, what if I fall? What if I trip? What if I embarrass myself? No, that baby just tries. They fall down, they get up, they wobble, they try again. And eventually, they're running through the house tearing everything up. But grown folks, we fall one time and say, well, guess it wasn't meant to be. Nah, it was meant to be. You just quit too soon. Let me drop this on you. Doubt is imagination in reverse. When you got faith, you imagine what could go right. When you got doubt, you're imagining what could go wrong. But both of them are using the same imagination. It's the same mind, the same power, just pointed in different directions. So why would you use your gift of imagination to tear yourself down instead of building yourself up? I know y'all sitting here with ideas, with dreams, with goals you ain't even started yet. And the reason you ain't started is because you're listening to that lie in your head. I ain't ready. I don't got enough money. I don't got the right connections. Listen, you don't need all that. What you need is to believe enough to take the first step. Because the secret is, ain't nobody ever ready. Nobody ever feels like they got it all figured out. The successful folks you admire, they were scared too. They just moved. Anyway. So the next time that little voice starts creeping and telling you what you can't do, I want you to ask yourself this. Who's talking? Is it you? Or is it your fear? And if it's fear, then remember this. Fear is a liar. Self-doubt is a liar. And you don't need to live by lies. God didn't bring you this far just to whisper in your ear, you ain't good enough. No, he brought you this far because he knows you got something to offer. So stop fighting yourself. Stop being your own worst enemy. And get out there and claim what's already yours. Everybody in this room got something. I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what your situation look like right now. God put a gift inside you. Now, let me be clear. I didn't say talent. I said gift. See, talent is something you practice. Talent is something you work at. But a gift is built in. It's that thing you can do better than most people with little effort. And the crazy part is, most people spend their whole lives ignoring their gift while chasing after something that ain't even meant for them. I'll tell you right now, I wasn't born to do algebra. I wasn't born to sit behind no desk typing reports. If you seen my school grades, you'd know that wasn't my lane. But put me on a stage, give me a mic, let me talk. That's where I shine. That's my gift. And once I stopped fighting it and started using it, my whole life changed. The problem is, a lot of folks don't trust their gift because it don't look like what the world says success is supposed to look like. Somebody out there, your gift might be cooking. You can throw some things in a pot and make people lick the bowl clean. Somebody else, your gift might be fixing cars. You can hear an engine and know exactly what's wrong. Another person, your gift might be organizing, bringing people together, making order out of chaos. But because the world glorifies celebrities, athletes, and billionaires, you think your gift don't count. But let me tell you something. Your gift will make room for you. That means if you lean into it, if you trust it, it will open doors you never even knew existed. See, the devil's biggest trick is making you believe you ain't got nothing. He wants you to look at other people and feel less than. But comparison is the thief of joy. You sitting there comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. They shining in their gift because they're using it, while you hiding yours under a blanket. You can't win a race looking at everybody else's lane. You gotta run yours. I remember when I first realized comedy was my gift. I was working odd jobs, just trying to keep food on the table. One day somebody dared me to get on stage at a comedy club. Now, I could have said no. I could have let fear talk me out of it. But something in me said, try it. Man, I got up there and told a joke, and the whole place erupted. That laugh was like confirmation from heaven. I said, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Now let me be honest. It didn't mean success came overnight. I still struggled. I still went broke. I even lived out my car for a while chasing that dream. But even in the darkest times, I knew I had something. And that belief kept me moving. Your gift is tied to your purpose. You ain't here by accident. God didn't just drop you on this earth to pay bills and die. No, He put something inside you that the world needs. And if you don't use it, somebody else misses out. Think about that. Somebody's joy, somebody's healing, somebody's breakthrough might be tied to your gift. But if you're too busy doubting yourself, they never receive it. That's bigger than you. Now, here's what you gotta understand. Your gift will feel natural, but that don't mean it won't require work. See, once you identify it, you gotta develop it. You can't just sit around waiting for opportunities to fall out the sky. You gotta grind. You gotta sharpen that thing. You gotta be disciplined. God gives the gift, but it's your job to grow it. And don't confuse the struggle with the absence of a gift. Just because it's hard don't mean it ain't for you. The struggle is what shapes you, so when the opportunity shows up, you're ready. Let me break it down this way. Think about a seed. Inside that seed is a tree. The seed don't look like much. If you didn't know any better, you toss it aside. But when you put it in the right soil, give it some water, let the sun hit it, over time that seed grows into something way bigger than what it started as. That's your gift. It might look small right now. It might look like nothing to the people around you. But in the right environment, with the right faith and the right work ethic, it'll grow into something that provides fruit, shade, and life to others. I don't care what your past looked like. I don't care what mistakes you made. Your gift ain't gone. It's still there. Some of y'all been running from it for years, talking yourself out of it, letting fear, doubt, and insecurity bury it. But gifts don't expire. They don't have a time limit. They're just waiting on you to pick them up and use them. So here's my challenge to you. Stop ignoring what God gave you. Stop wishing for somebody else's blessing and start working with what's in your hand. Because what you got is enough. You ain't missing nothing. You don't need to be more like them. You need to be more like the best version of you. And the best version of you is already in there, wrapped up in that gift. If you start walking in it, if you start trusting it, if you start using it, not only will you change your life, you might just change the lives of everybody connected to you. That's the power of a gift. And guess what? You already got one. Let me tell y'all something real plain. Excuses don't pay bills. Never have, never will. You can make all the excuses in the world about why you ain't where you want to be, but at the end of the day, the landlord don't take excuses for rent. The light company don't take excuses for electricity. They don't care how tired you were, how unfair life been, or how bad your boss treated you. You either put something on that bill, or you're sitting in the dark, and that's the truth. See, we live in a world where people got 1,000 reasons why they can't succeed. Oh man, I ain't got no money. I don't know the right people. I wasn't born in the right family. I'm too old. I'm too young. Excuse after excuse after excuse. But let me ask you a question. When has an excuse ever changed your life? When has it ever put food on the table? All it do is keep you stuck in the same place, telling the same sad story, year after year. I'll be honest with you. I used to be king excuse. I could talk my way out of anything. I can't chase my dream right now. I gotta work. I can't do it. I don't got no money. I can't. I ain't ready. And you know where all those excuses got me? Nowhere. I was broke, sleeping in my car, hungry, watching life pass me by. And then one day I realized, ain't nobody coming to rescue me. Nobody's gonna knock on my window and say, Steve, here's your dream. All set up and ready to go. No. If I wanted something different, I had to stop explaining why I couldn't and start figuring out how I could. Excuses feel good in the moment because they take the pressure off. They let you off the hook. But long term, they are poison. They trick your mind into believing that the problem is always outside of you, when really, most of the time, it's inside. Because the truth is, if somebody else made it from a worse situation than yours, then it ain't impossible. It's just that you ain't committed yet. Let me break it down with something funny. Imagine if your boss asked why you're late to work and you said, the sun came up too early, and then my bed was too comfortable, and then my pillow wouldn't let me go. You'd sound crazy, but that's exactly how we sound when we explain away our dreams. I couldn't because, stop right there. No, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Did you do it or not? That's the only question that matters. I remember this one time, I was complaining to a mentor of mine about why I wasn't further along. I had a whole list. I don't got connections. I don't got resources. I don't know how to get started. And he looked me dead in the eye and said, Steve, the only thing standing between you and where you want to go is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't get there. Man, that hit me like a brick. Because I realized I was rehearsing my excuses so much. I was speaking failure into existence. Excuses keep you comfortable. They let you stay in your little box without ever taking a risk. But the problem is, comfort don't grow you. Comfort don't stretch you. Comfort don't change your situation. Excuses protect your pride in the short run, but they rob you of your future in the long run. Now, I ain't saying life is fair. Life gonna hit you with challenges. You gonna face stuff you didn't ask for. But the question is, what you gonna do about it? You can either complain or you can climb. You can either make excuses or you can make adjustments. One of them keeps you stuck. The other one moves you forward. And here's the thing about excuses. They're contagious. You start making excuses, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by people who are doing the same thing. Misery loves company. But success don't hang around excuses. Successful people find reasons to push through. They don't say, I can't. They say, how can I? They don't focus on the problem. They focus on the solution. Listen, if you want to change your life, you got to stop rehearsing your excuses and start practicing discipline. Because discipline is what pays off. Excuses don't give no return on investment. They don't grow nothing. But discipline is the currency of success. It might not feel good in the moment, but it produces results. And results are what pay bills. Results are what change lives. I know somebody out there thinking, but Steve, you don't know my situation. And you're right, I don't. But I know this. There's somebody out there who came from worse, who had less, who faced more obstacles, and they still found a way. The difference wasn't opportunity. The difference was They stopped explaining why they couldn't and started working on how they could. So from today on, I want you to catch yourself every time you start to say, I can't because, and flip it into, I can if. That little switch changes everything. I can if I stay consistent. I can if I learn the skills. I can if I stop wasting time. That shift takes the power away from your excuses and puts it back in your hands. Because at the end of the day, excuses don't pay bills. Effort does. Discipline does. Faith does. So the next time you're tempted to explain away why you ain't where you want to be, remember this. You can either make progress or you can make excuses. But you can't make both. Failure. That word right there scares more people out of their destiny than anything else. Folks think if they try something and it don't work out, it's over. They think failure is a death sentence. But let me tell you what I learned. Failure ain't final. Failure is feedback. It's a lesson, not a prison sentence. See, the problem is, most of us were raised to believe failure means you ain't good enough. You fail a test in school, you get embarrassed, you get punished, people look at you different. So you grow up thinking, if I fail, I'm done. People gonna laugh at me. They're gonna say I ain't cut out for this. But in the real world, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Ain't nobody successful that didn't fail first. You show me somebody who made it big, and I'll show you somebody who got knocked down more times than they can count. I can't even tell you how many times I bombed on stage in the beginning. Man, I'd get up there thinking I had some fire jokes, and the room would be quiet like a library. Yeah, that silence is loud, boy. You standing there sweating, praying somebody cough, or drop a glass just to make some kind of noise. And when that happened, you had two choices. Never get on stage again, or learn from it. And you know what? Every time I failed, I learned something. Maybe I rushed the punchline. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe the crowd just wasn't my crowd. But I took that lesson, and the next time I came back sharper. That's the thing. Failure is a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. It gives you information success can't. When everything goes right, you celebrate, but you don't learn much. But when you fail, you stop, you analyze, you adjust. And that adjustment, that's where growth comes from. And now here's what I need y'all to stop doing. Stop treating failure like a permanent label. Just because you failed at something don't mean you're a failure. Those are two different things. Failure is an event. A failure is an identity. And the only way you become the latter is if you quit. But if you keep going, that failure just becomes another chapter in your success story. Think about it like this. When a baby learning to walk, they fall down 100 times. But nobody calls the baby a failure. Nobody says, well, walking just ain't for you, baby. Better stick to crawling. No, they clap, they cheer, they encourage the baby to get back up. So why, when we grown, do we treat ourselves harsher than a baby? You're supposed to fall. You're supposed to stumble. That's how you learn balance. That's how you build strength. I'll never forget the time I went on to Showtime at the Apollo. Now that crowd is legendary. They will boo you so bad, you start rethinking your whole life. And guess what? I got booed. Man, that a boo hit me like a punch in the gut. For a minute, I thought maybe this comedy thing wasn't for me. But deep down I knew that was just one night. That wasn't the whole story. I went back studying my mistakes, and when I hit that stage again, I tore the roof off. Same stage, same man, different outcome, because I didn't let failure lock me up. I let it level me up. You gotta stop treating failure like it's a wall when really it's a stepping stone. Every stumble, every setback, every closed door, it's just redirecting you, preparing you, teaching you something you're gonna need later. Sometimes failure is God's way of saying, not yet. Sometimes it's his way of protecting you from something you ain't ready for. And sometimes it's just him testing your faith. Because if wanting no can make you quit, you didn't really want it in the first place. The truth is, failure humbles you. And humility is a requirement for success. You can't appreciate the top if you ain't struggled at the bottom. You can't handle big blessings if you ain't learned how to handle small setbacks. Failure gives you perspective. It builds character. It forces you to rely on faith, not just feelings. Now, I know failing hurts. It bruises your ego. It shakes your confidence. But pain ain't permanent if you keep pushing. It's like going to the gym. You lift those weights, your muscles get sore. But that soreness is proof you're getting stronger. Failure works the same way. That sting you feel, that's growth happening. That's God stretching you. So I'm here to tell you, stop being scared to fail. Stop trying to play it safe your whole life. Playing it safe don't make you safe. It makes you stuck. You gotta risk falling if you ever want to fly. And if you do fall, and trust me, you will, don't stay down there crying about it. Get up, wipe yourself off, and ask, what did I learn? How do I do better next time? Because as long as you keep moving, failure can't hold you. Remember this, failure is not a prison sentence. It ain't life without parole. It's just a class. And once you pass the test, you move on to the next level. The only way failure wins is if you give it power it don't deserve. So the next time you fall, don't call it the end. Call it the beginning of your comeback. Because failure don't define you. It refines you. And if you keep your faith, keep your grind, and keep your eyes on what God put in you, every failure will just be proof that success is on the way. Let me tell y'all something most people don't want to hear. The comfort zone is the most dangerous place you can live. Now I know what you're thinking. But Steve, it feels good here. It's safe. It's easy. Yeah, and that's exactly the problem. Comfort is a silent killer. It'll rock you to sleep while your dreams wither away. You think you living, but really you just existing. See, the comfort zone don't challenge you. It don't stretch you. It don't demand nothing extra from you. And because of that, it don't give you nothing extra either. You just sit in the same spot, doing the same routine with the same results. And 10 years later, you wake up asking yourself, man, where did the time go? Why ain't my life no different? It's because you was too comfortable. And now don't get me wrong. I love comfort as much as the next man. I love a good couch, a good meal, a soft pillow. But when it comes to purpose, when it comes to chasing your destiny, comfort is the enemy. Because everything you want, every blessing, every opportunity, every next level, it's all on the other side of uncomfortable. I'll give you an example from my own life. Back when I was working jobs just to get by, I was comfortable with a paycheck. I hated the jobs, but at least I knew every 2 weeks I was going to get a little something. That comfort kept me stuck. Because deep down, I knew my gift was comedy. But comedy didn't come with no guaranteed check. It came with risk. It came with uncertainty. And that scared me. So I stayed in jobs I hated, trading my gift for a little security. Until one day I realized this comfort is costing me my dream. And that price was too high. So I stepped out. I left the comfort. I chased what scared me. And let me tell you something. It wasn't easy. I slept in my car. I went hungry. I faced rejection. But you know what? I also grew. I got tougher. I got sharper. And eventually I got blessed. Because I was willing to leave the comfort zone, I stepped into the opportunity zone. That's what I need you to understand. Comfort zones feel safe, but they're actually dangerous. Because while you're sitting there avoiding risk, life is passing you by. And nothing in life is truly safe. You think that job is safe? Nah, they can lay you off tomorrow. You think staying small is safe? Nah, you're just guaranteeing you'll never grow. At least if you take a risk, you're giving yourself a shot. Look around. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story came from somebody who was willing to be uncomfortable. The Wright brothers looked crazy, trying to fly. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he lit up a bulb. Oprah got fired from her first TV job. Do you think any of them was comfortable during that process? Absolutely not. But they knew if they stayed comfortable, the world would never see their gift. Let me bring it closer to home. Some of y'all got dreams you never touched because you're scared to leave the familiar. You in relationships you outgrew, jobs you hate, situations that drain you, all because it's comfortable. You don't want to rock the boat, but let me tell you, boats are built to move. You weren't made to sit still in the harbor. You were made to sail. And the ocean ain't comfortable, it's wild. But it's also where the adventure is. You ever been to the gym? First day back working out, you sore in places you didn't even know you had muscles. You walking funny. Can't sit down right. Can't lift your arms. It's uncomfortable. But you know what? That pain means you're growing. That's your body saying, we building something new here. Same with life. If you're too comfortable, that means you're stagnant. But if you're a little scared, a little stretched, a little sore, that means you're growing. Here's the truth. Greatness never lives in the comfort zone. You ain't gonna find it on your couch binge watching Netflix. You ain't gonna find it gossiping at the break room table. You find it when you do the thing that scares you. You find it when you show up even though you're nervous. You find it when you say, I don't know how this gonna turn out, but I'm gonna try anyway. So if you really want something different, you gotta do something different. You can't expect new results with the same old habits. You gotta stretch. You gotta risk looking foolish. You gotta step into places where your knees shaking and your voice cracking, because that's where growth is. That's where destiny is. Listen, don't let the comfort zone trick you. It may feel safe, but it's really dangerous. It's like quicksand. It holds you in place until you can't move at all. Step out. Stretch yourself. Try. Fail. Try again. Because the comfort zone may keep you from pain, but it also keeps you from purpose. So the next time you feel uncomfortable, don't run from it. Lean into it. That's God's way of telling you, I'm about to grow you. I'm about to bless you. Stop playing it safe and start playing it faithful. Because your comfort zone might feel like home, but your destiny is waiting in the unknown. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting everybody to see what they see. Let me break it to you right now. Your vision is yours alone. God didn't give it to your mama, your cousin, your best friend, or your coworker. He gave it to you. You. And that means sometimes you're going to be walking a road other folks can't understand. See, when God gives you a vision, it's like he whispers it in your ear. Ain't nobody else heard that whisper but you. And because they didn't hear it, they ain't going to understand it. That's why when you start talking about your dream, people look at you crazy. You say, I want to start a business. They say, but you got a good job already. You say, I want to move to a new city. They say, but what if it don't work out? You say, I want to be an artist, a singer, an entrepreneur. And they hit you with, and that's too risky. Of course, they say that they didn't hear the whisper. I remember when I first told people I wanted to be a comedian. Man, folks laughed harder at that than at my jokes. They said, Steve, be serious. You need a real job. You need something stable. And for a while, I almost believed them. Because it's hard when people you love don't support your dream. For love don't support your dream. But then I realized this vision wasn't for them to approve. It was for me to pursue. The truth is, if everybody understood your vision, it wouldn't be a vision. It'd be common sense. Vision is supposed to look crazy at first. It's supposed to be bigger than what makes sense right now. That's how you know it's from God. He don't give you something you can do in your own strength. He gives you something so big you gotta lean on him to get it done. Now here's the dangerous part. When you start waiting on everybody to validate your vision, you're gonna be waiting forever. Some people ain't never gonna get it. Not because they bad people, but because their sight is limited. They can only see what's in front of them. They can't see what's inside of you. And if you let their lack of vision stop you, you gonna die with your dreams still inside you. Let me tell you something. You don't need a committee to approve your calling. You don't need 100 cheerleaders to clap for you before you move. Sometimes you're gonna have to clap for your own damn self. You're gonna have to encourage yourself, look in the mirror, and say, I know, it don't make sense right now, but I believe what God told me. Because if you're waiting on a crowd to co-sing, you're gonna miss your moment. Think about Noah building the ark. Folks thought he was out of his mind. Building a boat when it had never rained like that before? People laughed at him, mocked him, called him crazy. But when the flood came, that vision made sense real quick. Same with you. They may not understand it now, but when the blessing shows up, when the doors open, when the dream manifests, they're going to be the same people saying, I knew you could do it. Your vision is personal. It's tailored. It fits you like a fingerprint. And because of that, everybody ain't going to fit in the plan. Some folks you love can't go where you going. Some relationships go and fade. Some friends go and distance themselves. Don't take it personal. That's just God trimming the fat so you can move faster. And let me warn you, sometimes the loudest doubters will be the people closest to you. That hurt. But you gotta understand, they speaking from their fear, not your future. They projecting their limits onto your vision. But just because they don't believe it don't mean it ain't real. Their disbelief don't cancel out God's promise. I learned a long time ago that if God showed it to me, that's all the confirmation I need. I don't need everybody else to get it. I don't need everybody else to agree. I just need to be obedient enough to move when he says move. When he says move. Because obedience brings blessings. And sometimes your obedience will turn other people into believers. So stop looking for approval. Stop waiting for everybody to catch the vision. They might not ever catch it, and that's okay. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. Walk in it, protect it, water it, work it. And when it starts to bear fruit, trust me, the same people who doubted you will be standing in line trying to taste it. Here's the bottom line. Your vision is yours alone. Don't waste energy trying to convince everybody else to see it. Just walk it out, because one day what looks crazy now will look obvious later. And when that day comes, you're going to be glad you didn't let other people's blindness rob you of what God made clear. Let me tell y'all something I know for a fact. Gratitude and faith are the real fuel for success. Not money, not connections, not even talent. Those things help, yeah, but they ain't the engine. The real engine is waking up every day thankful for what you got and believing God for what you can't see yet. That combination right there, that's unstoppable. See, too many folks spend all their time complaining. I don't have this. I don't have that. Why they got more than me? Why my life so hard? And every time you complain, you're blocking your blessing. Because God don't bless ungrateful people. You can't hand somebody a gift when they're still mad about the last one. Gratitude is like a magnet. It attracts more. The more thankful you are for what you got, the more doors open for you. I'll be real with you. I used to be a complainer too. When I was broke, living in my car, I would sit there and cry out to God. But why me? Why I gotta go through this? Why can't I catch a break? And one day, it hit me. I still had a car. I still had breath in my body. I still had a gift. I had something. And the moment I started thanking God for what little I had, instead of crying about what I didn't, things started to shift. I wasn't out the storm yet, but I could see the sun peeking through. That's the power of gratitude. It changes your perspective before it changes your situation. Now let's talk about faith. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And here's the thing about faith. It don't make sense. It ain't supposed to. Faith is believing in what you can't see yet. If you could see it, it wouldn't be faith. It'd be proof. Faith is standing in the middle of nothing and saying, something's coming. And the crazy part, if you stand long enough, it shows up. When I first started chasing comedy, I had no guarantee. I didn't know if it would work out, but I had faith. I believed that if God gave me the gift, He would also give me the opportunity. And that belief kept me going when everything else had quit. Because faith don't erase the struggle. It gives you strength in the struggle. The problem is, most people want faith to work like Amazon Prime. They want to pray today and have the package show up tomorrow. But faith don't work on your schedule. It works on God's. Sometimes you're going to pray and wait months, years even, before you see the result. And in that waiting season, gratitude is what keeps you from losing your mind. Gratitude says, I don't have what I asked for yet, but I thank God for what I do have. And that thankfulness is what unlocks the patience to hold on. Think about it like this. Gratitude is the fuel. Faith is the GPS. Gratitude keeps you moving. Faith keeps you pointed in the right direction. Without gratitude, you run out of gas. Without faith, you're driving in circles. But put them together, and you're going to reach the destination. Now, here's the funny part. People think gratitude is only for the big stuff. When I get the house, when I get the car, when I hit the million, then I'll be thankful. Nah, that ain't how it works. You gotta thank God for waking you up in the morning. You gotta thank Him for food on your table, clothes on your back, even if they ain't designer. You gotta thank Him for the little victories, the job interview, the connection, the opportunity, the lesson you learned. Because if you can't be trusted to appreciate the small, why would God hand you the big? Let me tell you something that changed my life. Every morning, first thing I do when I open my eyes, I say a thank you. Before I check my phone, before I complain, before I even brush my teeth, I say thank you. Because gratitude sets the tone. It tells God, I see what you already did, and I trust you for what you're about to do. And I promise you, that simple habit has opened more doors than any hustle alone ever could. Faith and gratitude work hand in hand. Gratitude roots you in the present. Faith pulls you toward the future. Gratitude says, I'm blessed right now. Faith says, I'll be even more blessed later. Fun. Together, they create momentum. That's why some people with less end up happier and more successful than folks with more. They live by gratitude and faith, not by fear and complaints. So I need you to check yourself. What are you focusing on? Are you counting problems or counting blessings? Are you looking at what's missing or what's present? Because whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on lack, you're going to feel lack. If you focus on blessings, you're going to see more blessings. Let me leave you with this. Success ain't just about money, cars, and fame. Success is peace of mind, joy in your heart, knowing you're walking in your purpose. And you can't have that without gratitude and faith. Gratitude makes you rich with what you already got. Faith makes you rich with what's coming. So stop whining. Start thanking. Stop doubting. Start believing. Because when you put gratitude and faith together, you ain't just surviving, you thriving. And trust me, that's the real fuel that'll carry you all the way to the life God designed for you. Let me be real with you. I've met a lot of talented people in my life. Folks who could sing circles around professionals. Folks who could draw masterpieces with a pencil and scrap paper. Folks who were so naturally funny, they could have a whole room in tears just talking regular. But you know what I also noticed? Most of them never went anywhere with it. They had the gift, but they didn't have the grind. And that's where discipline comes in. Because talent without discipline is wasted potential. See, talent will get you noticed, but discipline will keep you there. Talent is like a spark. It catches people's attention. But discipline, that's the firewood. That's what keeps the flame burning when the spark fades. And I promise you, a disciplined person with average talent will beat a lazy genius every single time. Let me tell you from experience, I wasn't the funniest man in the world when I started. I bombed on stage plenty of nights, but I kept showing up. I studied other comedians. I wrote jokes. I practiced. I learned timing. I worked on my craft. I had discipline. And because of that, I outlasted a lot of folks who were funnier than me when we first started. They didn't make it, not because they weren't good, but because they weren't consistent. Discipline is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, no check, no spotlight. That's what separates the successful from the dreamers. Dreamers talk about what they gonna do. Disciplined folks get up and do it. Now, here's the trap. Talent can make you comfortable. When you're good at something naturally, you start thinking you don't have to work at it. That's dangerous. No, because while you're sitting there chilling, somebody with less talent is grinding day and night. And by the time you wake up, they done passed you. They done lapped you. And you sitting there mad like, but I'm better than them. Maybe you were, but discipline turned them into what you should have been. It's like athletes. And discipline ain't glamorous. People love to post the results, the highlight reels, the success stories. But discipline happens in the dark. Discipline is waking up early when the bed feels too good. Discipline is writing when your brain don't want to. Discipline is saving money when you want to spend it. Discipline is saying a no when everybody else is saying yes. That's the part people don't clap for. But that's the part that makes success possible. Here's the truth. Talent is a gift, but discipline is a choice. You can't choose your natural ability, but you can choose how hard you work. You can choose consistency. You can choose commitment. And when you put those choices on repeat, that's when your life changes. And don't get it twisted. Discipline don't mean perfection. It don't mean you never mess up, never miss a day. Discipline means you bounce back quick. You don't let one slip turn into a slide. You don't let one lazy week turn into a lazy year. Discipline says, okay, I fell off, but I'm back on it tomorrow. That's how you win, by staying in the game longer than everybody else. I learned this the hard way. I seen opportunities pass me by because I wasn't prepared. And I promised myself I wasn't gonna let that happen again. I started treating every little stage like it was showtime at the Apollo. I treated every joke like it mattered. I showed up ready. And guess what? When the big opportunities came, I wasn't scrambling. I was prepared. That's discipline. Preparation meeting opportunity. And let me give you one more thing. Discipline creates freedom. Most people think discipline is a prison. They think it's restrictions, it's boring, it's hard. But nah, discipline is what gives you freedom later. You discipline yourself to save money. You free yourself from debt. You discipline yourself to eat right. You free yourself from health problems. You discipline yourself to put in the work now. You free yourself to live your dream later. Discipline ain't a jail, it's a passport. So don't sit around relying only on your talent. Talent is cool, but talent gets lazy. Discipline never fails you. Discipline shows up even when motivation is gone. Discipline don't care if you feel like it or not. Discipline says, I do it anyway. And that's how you separate yourself from the crowd. The bottom line is this: you can be the most talented person in the room, but if you ain't disciplined, somebody with half your skill and double your grind is gone. Take your spot. But if you got discipline, man, you're unstoppable. Because discipline beats talent every time talent gets lazy. And in the long run, it's discipline that crowns the champion, not talent.